saying. So just a little bit of background. So the way that you need to get is there's two basic accounts that we're going to be dealing with. That Zoom Basic, where you go, you sign up for it for free. It's going to give you access to do, I think it's 30, or maybe I think it's for 40 minutes now. You can have an online class with up to 100 people. That's the basic account. The university has purchased pro accounts. Pro accounts will let you have up to 300 people. And I think the recordings can go up to 8 hours long. And I hope nobody ever does a course or a class that's 8 hours long. Please don't do it. The pro accounts, you have to, again, you kind of have to contact your dean, in which they then make a kind of a list of the people that'll end up getting the pro accounts. I know that just for the School of Education, Catherine Doherty just ended up saying anybody that's teaching online, here's their name, make it happen. That's my suggestion on how to do it. I asked Sister Sharon to double the amount of Zoom accounts she had, and she said she was. So that's good news. So that's just a little bit about the Zoom background. Now, we do have a customized type of platform for Zoom. So Notre Dame has a Zoom account. It is, I think, I'll give you the web address in just a minute. Okay, so pedagogy, how to teach with Zoom. Some of the best things before I actually go into sharing my screen and showing you everything when it comes to Zoom and the interface is try not to replace the minute-by-minute version of your class online, because there's a phenomenon called Zoom fatigue. If you've ever experienced anything in the spring or in the summer, you know that minute by minute, this is a lot different than having a phone conversation or watching a video. It's very taxing to us. It fatigues us mentally and physically, because it's almost like we're acting on a stage. So try and use your synchronous times very strategic in a very strategic manner. So this way, it's there's short snippets. I end up just I try to do anywhere from like 90 minutes to 2 hours, and that's a lot of time. But in that time, what I'll do is I'll break it up and do micro lectures, and then I get them to do some sort of application, some sort of hands-on activity. If you have a class that's extremely content rich and has a lot of information, I consider that making that into almost like an asynchronous portion of your course somehow. Readings or activities or some sort of offsite. I'm not saying that synchronous should be some sort of it should be used and kept on a pedestal, but what I'm saying is try and use it very deliberately for what you end up planning on it. It shouldn't be you just talking for 2 hours at the students. My lecture is over. There is, when it comes to just how to station your area, it's, and that is like the production area. Again, just try and isolate with a quiet place. Try to have a good light. I've turned off my light in actually my room, and I actually have a small little cheap, like $8 Amazon light just showing right at me. Try and see if you can isolate yourself in a house or a quiet room. Again, also consider bio breaks for your students, like the freedom to actually just get up and do what they have to do temporarily. It is good etiquette, and in a second we'll go ahead right into just the video and the audio. If you are not speaking, to ask them to just mute themselves. And I see that and the mute again is on the bottom left-hand side. It's very quick. I can mute myself just by going like this. And then you just click it on and you start talking again. Ask your students to do that. So this way, if they hear a crash in the background or if my kids are misbehaving, my wife is yelling at them upstairs, you won't hear that. But it's also, it helps with less distraction. You're not hearing clutter. You're not hearing somebody's audio bleed through into the discussion. Okay, audio. There's a lot of debate whether people need to force students to have the video on or not. My suggestion is, since these are adult learners, to ask them to have video on if they're comfortable. They may have laptops or computers that don't have a webcam. In that case, there is the portion where they could potentially do like a call in with their phone And there's also, if they don't have audio on their computer, they can also set it up to where they can do the phone, like the phone line. I only had 1 or 2 students use the phone call option for the audio, but it is something that when you prepare an invitation, it does give them the ability to do so. Okay, the way that I set up my classes is I do create a slide deck that I don't use just for, it basically has the information I want to provide, the directions I give to my students, the questions, and also the directions. When you put them into breakout rooms, they lose sight of the main Zoom room, I guess is the best way to call this thing. So ask them, if you give them a prompt or something that they have to discuss in their breakout rooms, you're going to want to put it into the chat box, which I'll show you shortly. And of course, patience. Please be patient with yourself and be patient with your students. This is, for a lot of people, this is new. And please don't get frustrated with yourselves. And I know that you all have wonderful patience with your students. Just understand these are just completely unprecedented times, and it's new for a lot of people. So please just be patient with yourself. We are our biggest critics, and we're not magicians. We do what we can to the best of our abilities. Okay, so now I'm going to start to get into the nuances of Zoom and its interface. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you the interface real quick to actually set up to actually set up an actual room. So if I'm going to hit the share screen, so what it's going to do is it's going to provide you with my screen. You're going to actually see my screen on yours. So let me go ahead and hit share screen, and you can pick which screen you want to share. And what I mean by that is if you have a desktop, you can share your entire desktop where they'll see all the things that are on your computer screen. You can do an online whiteboard. You can do just one window. If you have PowerPoint running, you can show the PowerPoint and the slide deck of that PowerPoint. Or if you have a window, like if you're using Chrome or something like that, and you want to show them a website. Now, I'm just going to click on desktop right now and hit the share button. Okay, and so that's up there. And I want to pin this video right here. So this way now, so what I ended up doing is on my screen now, you can see me in the top, if I'm facing myself, top right-hand side, I see myself now talking. What I did was I ended up pinning my screen to where I can see that. So right now on this web video, when I'm done recording, I'll be able to see myself talking in the top right-hand side. A lot of people like to do that. It's very good for recordings because then you have a talking head. Okay. So let me go ahead and show you the interface of Zoom. So here's my Zoom screen coming right at you right now. Okay. Now, when I hit the back button, you're going to see my launching. Let me just go right back into another window of Zoom. Here we go. So here's the login for Zoom. Okay. Now, I'm just going to click on my account because I'm logged in already, and you see all this information. Okay, so let's say I need to set up my online class. I need to schedule my online class. I need to be able to provide them with the information so they can link up with me next week. I'm going to do this in real time. I'm actually going to do this as an application. I start my class, my courses on Monday. So I'm going to set up my entire course. I'm going to set up access for my students for the entire time. So if I hit meetings, I'm going to go over here to meetings, and you can see my scheduled meetings right now. Right now we're going. This is today, the Zoom for Beginners. But if we want to create one, I'm going to hit schedule a new meeting. I'm going to call this my course, which is IDS 374. You can do a little description, in an optional description there, and I'll just say you can just say my course. Okay. So what you're going to do next is you're going to schedule out when it starts. So mine starts at next week on next Monday, and it's going to be at 1 p.m. Okay. And then you can do the duration. I'm just going to do 2 hours. Boop. And I've never found that it shuts me off when I'm done. This is going to be a recurring meeting. So I'm just going to set it up for my entire semester. So recurrence every weekly for every Monday. And you can do an end date, which I'm just gonna do as, um, just gonna end this November 30th. The only reason I'm doing it just to the 30th is probably in December I have to customize what my time is gonna be. So by then, after I'm done, now registration, if they register as a Zoom user, I'm not gonna require that. For passcode, um, a passcode provides just a little password. It's just basically a PIN number so that they can enter your your Zoom classroom. A lot of people tend not to fill that out. They'll just keep it blank, and students can just click on the link and enter your classroom. The problem is a lot of people have been posting Zoom links online to, whether you want to do a group or do some sort of like a web activity or something like that. They'll do an open Zoom and they'll give out the link without a password. And what happens is people do what's called hijacking. What they'll do is they'll come in and they'll start blasting music. They'll start acting like just complete jerks. They'll blast everything. It's called what is it, a Zoom bomb, I think, or bombing a Zoom call. It's if you're pretty much not going to post stuff online, and I don't mean by email, I mean online, like putting it on Facebook or Twitter, chances are you're pretty good about not having to do that. If you're more comfortable, you can just hit passcode and it's going to give you a pin to give to your in your invitation. So students have to enter actually a password. I'll go ahead, and you can also provide a waiting room. That is that they're waiting, and then you have to provide them access to get into the classroom. I typically don't do these two security measures because I know who my students are coming. I know my kind of like attendance here. So and again, the names are posted on the screen as you go through. Okay, where it says audio, telephone, computer audio, both. I typically do both. So this way they can choose to do it by telephone. They can call in. There's a phone number. They can call in and listen to the audio instead of listening it through the computer if their computer's old or something and doesn't have a microphone. Meeting options, enable join before host. I do that just in case you're just a moment early. You'll just show up and basically just be on kind of like standby. You can mute participants upon entry, so when they come in, you're not hearing all their background noise. Only authenticated users can join. That is if you're worried that people are going to get in and they're going to start trouble. But again, we're not going to really have to worry about that. You can do breakout rooms before they even come. You can pre-assign them if you'd like and try and work through that process to where, okay, I know I'm going to have 3 or 4 groups come. Let me break up the rooms right now. Or you can also hit the automatic button. This feature is it starts recording as soon as you start the video. I'm sorry, as soon as you start the interface. As soon as you start the actual call, it starts recording. I manually hit the record button. So purpose, I'm just going to say course, and these are required sessions. And then I can also give alternative hosts if I have if I'm team teaching. I can provide the email address of my colleague or my co-teacher. I'm going to hit save. Okay, so what has been generated is an invitation. This link right here is basically what you give to your students so that they can access your class. If you do pick a passcode, you also have to include that. You can also put this onto your Google Calendar, your Outlook calendar. If people use Yahoo, you can obviously do that as well. Now, how do you get this invitation to your students? There's a little button right here that says copy invitation. And what it does is it actually provides you with all of the information that you can send via email to your students. Okay, so what I would do is when I'm done, I would take all this information right here, and then I would copy and paste it into an email to my students. You can do this email either through Joule in the email feature, or you can just go right into Outlook and just at one point in time, just make a big class list and just send it to them that way. You can also place this in the discussion forum, and the students will gain access to that in your announcements forum on Joule. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything with that yet. But what will happen is when it is time for me to start facilitating, I will go to my join a meeting. I'm sorry, I'll go to, let me see, this is since I will go to my, let's see, my meetings here, and I will click on this link to actually start my class. I can't click it right now because I'm actually in the middle of a session with you all. All right, trying to show, okay, so that's basically how to set up a meeting, how to set up your Zoom. You can do this as one time a week if you have different times that you're going to meet with them instead of just, I just did mine Mondays from 1 to 3. You can set it up other times. You can do this one time a week, but just don't forget it. If you go the route of just doing one time a week, like, okay, here's my first session, just don't forget to send, for class 2, class 3, and so forth. Don't forget to set that up. So this way they have access, because they're not going to be able to go into a previous meeting from the past. You have to make sure to keep scheduling your Zoom out. I just like to set up a time. That's my time. It's just set up for the entire semester now.
Hey, Ryan.
Yes.
So the students won't get like regular updates on this, like before every class, they won't get another link reminding them. It will just be the one email that they get from you with the information.
Correct. And again, it's all how you set it up. So if you want to just, and again, that link for me, the one that I just created for my real class, is a real class that I'm going to set up. I don't have to worry about that again. They're just going to keep on accessing that same link over and over and over again. You can go the route to where if you want to schedule individual class sessions each time, you can do that as well. But they are going to get a unique URL like invitation each time. So it depends on how you want to structure that, how you want to schedule that. Since it's a entire class and it's very, there's a routine, I'm just going to do the entire semester. So that's the easiest for me. The way that you want to run it every time that, if I'm in a class on Monday, some instructors are just more comfortable. Monday, it's part of my routine now. I'm just going to send them a new invite to my Zoom class for that night. You could do it that way as well. Depends on how you want to do it. I just try and set it up to where it's consistent for the students. It's always fine. So you really have your preference. Let's see if there's any settings. I'm trying to think. Okay, so for settings, you can, before you record, you can set up things that are customizable. You can set up waiting rooms, as I said before. You can require passcodes all the time if you want to. So settings, you can go in here and set up your account the way that you want it. Like anytime I do a session, there has to be a passcode. So you can automatically do that and set that up too. I'm not going to go through all the nuances of the settings, but it's helpful just to know. Okay, so that's pretty much all I had when it comes to the settings and the scheduling. I'm going to move on to now. I'm now going to move on to the actual interface, the actually teaching of using Zoom. Okay,
Hey, Ryan.
so yes.
Ryan, it's Bill. I tried the recurring meeting thing this summer, and I thought I got it all set up. And then when my first meeting was, supposed to be starting, nothing happened.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
So I went then to just schedule, one every Tuesday and Thursday night. I just did them one day at a time.
Okay. Which, again, you have to make sure the very first time you start is that you give the students that link to where they enter that classroom. Anytime that you want to start this meeting, what you'll do is you'll log into Zoom, you'll go into meetings, and what happens is this one right here, I'm sorry, the one I set with the IDS 374, this one's recurring. In fact, it even says recurring. I'm just going to keep on entering it here every single time because I set it up to where it was going to be in December. So
it doesn't pop up automatically. You have to actually click on it.
You actually have to enter it, yes.
Okay.
So what you're going to want to do is once you set this up, you're going to go to your meetings and start the meeting. It will actually not start the meeting until you enter it as the host.
Yeah, I remember that. And then where it says schedule a new meeting there, is that where you clicked to start?
No, this is where
No.
if I need to schedule a new one, let's say we have a meeting tomorrow. What I'll do is I'll go in here and I'll click it and I'll set it up to where I'm meeting with Bill tomorrow, 11 a.m., and then I'll send you the invite.
Okay.
Okay. So anytime you want to set something up, you go to schedule a new meeting.
Okay, and this will work for, you did it for weekly, but it is actually possible to do it for Tuesday, Thursday, all semester. So it would end up being 30 meetings or something.
That's a great question. I've never set it up to where, in case you have to meet 2 times a week. Let's see. I'm trying to think when. What you could do also is just, this may be easier for set up Tuesdays and set up Thursdays. So this way you just have a link for Tuesday and a link for Thursday. That might be easier. And this way you say, okay, for students on Tuesday, you can go here, and on Thursday you go there. Because I may try and mess with this to see if I can get it to work, but I really want to make sure I get to the interface. And again, you can email Krista. She'll probably be able to give you the directions in like 15 seconds. Me, I don't want to flounder and waste everybody's time, but I'm sure you can do it. What was that?
It looked like that was an option when you were doing weekly. It looked like you could click which days.
Let me see.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, so let's say I need to do recurring. Hold on, let me go through my process here. Okay, so when I'll do it. I'm just going to do the 24th. Okay, for an hour. Recurring meetings. Here we go. Recurring meetings. Recurring. Okay, daily, weekly, monthly, no fixed time. So I can, let's say I'm going to do it weekly, and then I can also do Monday and like Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday. So that's, Bill, that's how you want to make it work. But don't forget, so let's say you're doing Tuesday and Thursday. Like that. You can do Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now I'm meeting every noon. I'm meeting noon for Tuesdays and Thursdays. And right now I can set up the end date. This is when all that schedule stops. So if I'm going to do this until like December or whatever, December 1st, I can set it up that way. Or I can just say after 7 occurrences, I'm done.
So that should get you set up for every Tuesday, Thursday at whatever time you chose.
Correct. It will. This will. I'm not going to hit the save button, but you just hit save and that will work. I'm just going to hit cancel so I don't schedule a phony meeting. But that's how it would work for you. You just have to kind of go into all the little choices after you hit recurring. So, okay, so let me go ahead.
And before your course, I'm sorry, before your first class starts then, you go to your Zoom screen and you pick from like the list you have there, and you click on the one that you are
you hit start
going to host. Okay.
So for tomorrow at 5 I have a meeting. I'm trying to remember I don't even remember what that is. That may be a train. I think that's one of my other trainings. I would hit start and that's when the meeting actually starts. Let's say I have like 5 students and I'm meeting with them. If I don't hit start, they're just going to sit there and just basically wait, and they're not going to enter your classroom.
Okay.
When you start as the host, it gets it going. It'll open up the Zoom classroom. But
does it send
you
them
hit
a
the
message?
start button,
I'm sorry to have so many questions, but does it send them a message every Tuesday and Thursday?
No, you have to do that.
Your meeting's about to start. Pardon me?
No, you have to do that. You have to set up some sort of contact. Now they can choose to put that onto their calendar. But I think that comes with when they have their own Zoom account and how they set it up. Again, what you can do, a few things to actually manage this is that you can if you want to, you can send them a message every Tuesday and every Thursday. Right. Or you can say, keep this link and this password. This is going to be the link for all my class for the entire semester. Please access it every 6 p.m. or every noon, So just, you want to be able to provide that and give them directions on how they access it and how they get into their Zoom classroom.
Okay.
After a couple times practicing it, the easiest way to do this is to give them the link and give them the password if you've given it, the passcode, and just say every Tuesday, Thursday, click on this link, enter this classroom. And then on your side, you'll go into Zoom, you'll go log in, and you have to actually start the meeting. Okay. So that's I gave you what the students need to do, and I gave you what the teachers have to do. All right, so let me go ahead now into the interface of Zoom. So this way people are comfortable with what exactly they'll see. Okay, so since my controls are transparent right now, and you can't see them, what I ended up doing is I took a quick little screenshot right here. Let me hit the play button. I can get access to it. So this way I can show you exactly how to get everything going. Okay, so let's pretend that this is us right now talking. Okay. Now, anytime you want to mute, you just click this mute button right here. When you first enter and when your students first enter, they have to choose what audio source they have to click on. You would just go down here to this part right there, and you would click mute or unmute to actually speak. Same thing with the camera. Some people have a web camera mounted on top. Some people are just using their laptop camera. That's fine. They have to start and stop that video as well. Okay. Now, the next button right down here is participation. Okay, participation, this basically has a gigantic roll call of everybody that's joined. This is a big listing. Not only does it include your students, it also includes any host or co-host that you have. When you click this interface, you're going to be able to see a big listing of everybody you have. A lot of people take attendance on this. That's fine as well. However, I do suggest as well is that it's a good place to go if you want to figure out, does everybody have their audio off? Is everybody's video off? If you want to put everybody, if you hear a lot of noise in the background, like somebody forgot to mute themselves and they can't figure out who it is, you can actually go onto the screen and mute everybody except yourself talking. If you want to share screens, the nice thing about Zoom is you're not only able to share your screen, if you provide everybody access, anybody can share their screen. If it's a webinar where it's just you sharing the screen, you don't have to provide them access to share screen. However, a lot of times when you're doing like project-based learning or you want somebody to share their screen, you can provide that. If you go on to share screen, you're just going to allow other people to share their screen. The chat icon's right down here. The chat is a pretty nice feature if you want to have a back channel as you have your lecture. If you go into breakout rooms, it's very helpful because to put your prompt or your question or whatever they're discussing, to put it into the chat feature before they enter the room. This way they actually have the prompt. When they go into these awesome breakout rooms, and they are great, when you go into breakout rooms, what happens is they don't see the main shared screen anymore. They just go and see all of their different people there. They see all the members of their breakout room. So there might be 3 or 4 people if it's like a full class. Inside of the chat feature, not only can you share the like the text, you can also share files. So let's say you just want to give everybody the questions that they're going to be considering or answering, or their notes for the entire class. You can upload a file and they can see that file. They can just click on it and download it to their computer. There's the record button, and there's also the breakout room. Now, unless you're a host, you're not going to see the breakout room feature. Only hosts have breakout room capabilities. Okay, that way your class won't be able to break them up into rooms you have to. Now, at the very top of the screen, all of my interface, since I'm sharing my screen with you, all of my interface is at the very top. So when I start facilitating, all of my icons and interface features are at the bottom. But when I start sharing my screen, it pops it on the top. So this way, because we use a lot less of our screen on top than we do on the bottom. So it puts it all up there. So this way, it's very clear that I can see everything. So I'm just going to hit the button that says Stop Share. And now you're not going to see my screen anymore. Okay. Now, if I hit share screen again, which I'm doing right now, sorry. Let's see, hit share screen, and I'm gonna hit the desktop again, hit share. What happens is my interface buttons went right back to the top. Okay. Now let me see if I can give you any other features that you might want to see. Oh, let's say somebody comes in and you're like, oh my God, they're belligerent, they're rude, or they're not welcome. There's a security feature right here in which you can boot a person. You can delete them, you can kick them out of the room. You can also allow people to screen share here. You can turn off the chat feature. If you don't want chat, you can turn that off. You can also make them and force them to, you can allow them to rename themselves. So if they come in and they're obviously their parents' computer or something like that, they can rename themselves. And again, obviously, you can also remove a person if they are being disruptive.
How do you do that?
Security, and it says remove participant, and then it's going to give you a list of who you remove.
Okay.
Yep.
We can't
So
see that right now.
I've never had to use it, but if you do, I always want to give you the feature, the way to get rid of somebody if they're being difficult. Has it ever happened to me? Nope. And I've done big Zoom meetings and nobody's been a problem, but if it happens, I'd rather you be prepared. Okay, so I wanted to show you a picture of what it looked like. Darn it. Let me hit play. This is what it looks like when I'm sharing my screen. See, all of my icons are now at the very top. Okay, I think you can see that his screen, all of his, darn it, his features, there we go. His stuff is all at the very top. Mine is at the top as well. In fact, it's covering up his screen right now because I just wanted to show you what it looked like since all of my features are transparent. You can't see them. Okay. I'm trying to think of, okay, so I'm trying to think of any other features or suggest. Oh, breakout rooms. So breakout rooms are really cool. So I'm going to hit stop. So breakout features is a little button at the very bottom. And what it does is it breaks you out into little groups. Okay, so I have 6 people, and that's including me. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break you up into a group, like 2 groups of 2, 2 groups of 3. You get it. So what I end up doing is it's this simple. I go to breakout rooms, and I say it's assigned 5 participants, and it's asking me how many rooms do I want to make. I'm just going to make 2 rooms. Now, I can automatically make it to where I'm just saying, Zoom, go ahead and break these people up into groups. That is that you're going into teams. I don't have to worry about it. It's just some algorithm just puts you into a team. Or I can manually decide how I'm going to put each person into the actual thing. I'm going to move this person into the breakout room 1, this into 2, this into 1, this into 2. You can manually actually go ahead and separate them. I'm just going to hit automatic to save the time and hit a breakout room. Now, what I now have is a screen that looks just like this. Let me see if I can get you a screenshot to show you exactly what it looks like. Okay, I don't think you can see. No, it's annotating right now. I'll show you in a second, but basically what I'm allowing you to do right now is I'm going to hit open all rooms, and you as a student are going to get a little prompt that states enter this classroom. Go ahead on in. Let's see. Of course I can't. Let me see if I can get. There it is. Okay, everybody's back. So what I wanted to do is, while you all were gone, I quietly took a screenshot of the of how that breakout room action happened. So let me go to my presentation and show you exactly what it looks like. And the nice thing about these breakout rooms is you can close them just as quickly as you made them, but it's not like a rude abrupt, like it's not a rude and abrupt ending. It gives them 60 seconds before it boots everybody out. So what happens is, here are all of my participants right here, and I asked Zoom to break you up into 2 rooms, okay? And what happens is I had to click open all rooms before you would enter it. And the students get a little icon that states that, okay, you need to they get a little window. It says enter this room, and then you have to click on it to join. If by some chance you end up getting a lot more people that participate, or a lot more people, you can also add an additional room here. And then
Hey,
you all
Ryan.
went in.
Ryan, I got lost. Like, Zoom quit on me when that happened.
Yep. So what I ended up doing is I took because you were paused for a second, you ended up not going in the rooms. I'm like, oh, she must have like lost connection.
Yeah.
The only thing, just to kind of get back, so what you're seeing is a screenshot of what I ended up doing when you lost connection.
Okay.
This is the breakout room that I made. So I made 2 breakout rooms. Here is the class. Here's the session roster, and to make it work, you have to click on open all rooms, and it lets them go into each room. And then when you're done, you can hit close all rooms, and it gives them 1 minute, 60 seconds to come and rejoin the main Zoom session. So that's really all I think you missed.
Okay.
So you're back. So this is just a screenshot, so this way I can show you the interface. It's really tricky to do a training on something when all the buttons and icons are transparent, for a better, obviously for a better activity, for a better experience in the classroom.
Hi, I have a question. I'm teaching actually piano class, so I think mine might be very difficult. So I was wondering that, I have 5 students, and that's the maximum I'm allowed. And can I break up, for example, because I lecture and then let them practice, and then I monitor each person that's practicing. So what can I do there?
Okay, so when you can manually go and enter each classroom and then leave each, I'm sorry, I don't want to call it classroom. You can manually enter each breakout session and then leave each breakout session. So you can check on your groups. It's one thing I forgot to tell you. Thank you, Wendy. Is you can go into each breakout room and have that discussion. What I do is I call it a drive-by. I go in for a few minutes, talk to them for a few moments, and then I leave. So this way I know that they're on track. If they have questions about something, I can answer it. It makes it a lot easier to go through. So you can do that. Again,
how do you do that?
It's
Ryan,
when you have your breakout, here's again, I can't show you the exact interface, but you click on breakout rooms, it gives you that big roster of people, okay? And what happens is each one, after I make them and after you join each room, there's a little button that says join. So you can join, and then when you go into the room, there's a button that says leave this room. You can leave the room. So you can go into, I usually start with room 1 and work my way down to room 3, 4, 5. But you can go in for a few minutes as they're having their little group discussions.
And also, isn't there a lecture on Thursday about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't there a lecture about breakout rooms on Thursday?
Yeah, I'm focusing on the trainings, unfortunately, that I made and created. So it could be. There is a breakout where I'm sure it's into the nuances about each of the rooms. It's also how you end up deciding. Wendy, there's a good way if you want to. I think you could even do You can even use your iPhone if you have an iPhone or something like that, actually connect it to your computer to actually be more of a, what is it, like not a document camera, but you can set up an actual second camera to where it's actually recording you playing the piano. But you're going to have to do some research because I've never used it that way. I've only seen somebody use like an old iPhone, connect it to the computer so that they can actually see it as a second screen. So I would do a search on using old phone for Zoom document camera. So, and you should find something that gives you the directions.
Yeah, or I might have to get a second camera so they can see a bird's eye view of my hands on the keys plus me at the piano. So that's gonna.
And it's also helpful if you record yourself beforehand, like actually record video of it and share it. The nice thing too is if you want to share video through this, you hit share, and when you actually share the screen, you can actually, there's a little checkbox that states, are you going to share video through your video? So let's say I'm playing a YouTube clip or a TED talk or something. I want to play a little snippet of it. You can make that work. You can, there's a little feature that says share this audio for this computer. So this way it actually hears the audio from the video streaming through Zoom. So you can share video if you want to through this as well. Does everybody understand what I mean? So I find a YouTube clip that I want to share with my students. Let's say it's a 3-minute clip. If I try to just hit the play button on YouTube, you might be able to hear my audio fine, but what happens is it's going from my external speakers to my microphone, and there's in between there might be tons of interference. You might not hear it well. I could be talking. What you can do instead is when you hit your share screen and you want to share a video, there's a little button that states, is this going to be for video? Are you going to share video? Like, are you going to share like audio and stuff like that? You can click on that. And what happens is it's hearing the audio directly from your computer instead. It's not going the route of being projected and then going back into a microphone where you can hear like, you might hear garbage. You might not hear everything. It'll play it as crystal clear as it was coming out of my own computer. The way to do that is you just go to, again, go to share screen. Let me see if I can actually take a screenshot of it. It's called Share Computer Sound. And then there's also an optimized screen share for video clip. So what happens is, let's say if I'm playing music, Wendy, if I'm playing a piano, I might end up doing Share Computer Sound. Or if I'm sharing a video like on TED Talk, I'm going to click on optimize screen share. Okay, so let me take and again, please bear with me here. I'm taking screenshots as I do a tutorial, so it's not exactly easy. Save to the desktop. Let me show you exactly the feature I am clicking on. And okay, let's see. I don't think I can do that. Let me hit share screen and show you exactly what I see. Share. And let's see, it is, I just took the screenshot. It should be right now. Here it is. It is. Yeah, right here. See at the very bottom, it says share computer sound, optimize screen share. Can everybody see those features?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the actual, when I hit share screen, these are the things that I can share. So I can share desktop 1, which is what you see, and you see my wonderful like face right there. Oh, terrible face. Okay, you can do desktop 2 means if I'm using dual screens. Desktop 2 is if I'm using dual screens, I can share my other screen instead. If you want to share a whiteboard, if let's say you want a whiteboard and show everybody just a whiteboard, you can annotate, draw, and stuff like that. If you want to share an iPhone or an iPad, either by cable, and this is what I meant, Wendy, when it comes to trying to show piano with an old iPhone or with your normal iPhone. And you can also do any programs or utilities that are open. But what I mentioned before, share computer sound or optimize screen share for video clips, that is, if I'm going to play a YouTube clip, I'm going to click on that and hit share. So this way it's a smooth video. They're actually seeing the video clearly. They're hearing it clearly. or if I'm playing some sort of audio clip, they're going to hear my computer sound very clearly. All right, so let me close that down. Okay. So I have about 10 more minutes of this session. Let me answer any questions that you all still have about any subject when it comes to Zoom.
So I have a question. I hope it's not a stupid one.
Oh, come on. It's okay. Go ahead.
Well, I just, you're saying things like you click where it says breakout rooms and you click where it says security and none of that is showing up on mine. Is that because you started the meeting or is that because I don't have Zoom Pro or?
No, it's because the Zoom features are transparent. You can't see them through, like you as a student cannot see it.
Okay.
If I made you into a co-host, let me see if I can actually do it. You should see features. Hold on. Let me practice so this way you see the interface. What I was trying to do is I was trying to show everybody all these screenshots with all the interface. That's why making these Zoom trainings are so hard, is because I have to show you something that is not automatically shown on the screen. So it doesn't like ruin your experience as you go through. So let me see what I can do about showing. Okay, so I'm going to make you a host for a second.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you should see a bunch of buttons show up. Is that correct?
I'm still seeing your screen right now.
Oh, well, that's because I have to hit stop share.
Okay.
Okay. So now do you see a bunch of additional buttons? Yeah.
Yes.
So what happens
so now
is,
I see security, I see breakout rooms.
but here's the thing. I can't see that and neither can they, because you're now a host.
Oh.
It gets rid of the features that you do not need. It makes it transparent. You can't see it, or it makes it invisible, I guess is the best way to say it. So I am now going to see if I can get back my hosting duties. Let me see if I can. Actually, you know what? This is a good practice. Can you go into your participants list?
Mm-hmm.
Click on it, and you should see my name. Can you click on me and then just say make host?
Yes.
Could you please make me the host?
I will.
Awesome.
Are you host now?
I am the host, and it'll even tell me at the top, you are now the host. Okay, so it's what I basically ended up doing is I gave her the privileges to actually see what I could see, and what I'm trying to not fail at, but what I'm having issues showing you is all the different buttons, because as users, as students, you can't see it because you're not an instructor. You don't have a lot of these different functions. You can access the chat. So in chat, you can go there and start typing whatever you want, unless I cut it down. Also, if you want to tell something private to somebody without everybody seeing it, you can actually write a chat. You can actually send a message in the chat to the whole group, or you can send it to individuals privately. Just please make sure, in fact, it's a little button it says to, and it says I could do it to everyone in the meeting. So everybody's going to see it. Hello. Or I can just send it to one person, like pick it on Bill right now. I'm just saying hello to him, but nobody else can see that. So Bill sees 2 hellos. You all only see 1 hello. And that's just at the bottom. And again, I can share a file with you as well. There's a little file button right here, and I can upload it to anybody I want to. It's going to go to probably everybody, or I can send it privately to each person. Or I can send it to just one person that needs it. Maybe they're like, oh, I missed the notes. I could give it to you instead.
Brian, how do you make somebody a co-host?
Okay, same thing that I did with Dr. Del Rosa. I ended up going to participants. So you go to participants, and what it'll do is in the participant box, it'll say mute. So let's say right now, Bill is unmuted. I'm going to mute him because I'm being mean. No, I'm just kidding. But I just muted him. There's a little button that says more. Okay.
Oh.
Let me try and see if I can do this whole screen share thing again. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen and hit share. Show you exactly. Okay, I just took a screenshot. Here it is. Okay, it is right there. So I had like Kathy's name is right here, and I can make her a host. I can make her a co-host.
Oh,
I can allow her to record. So if she wants to make her own recording, she can. If I want to rename her, so let's say, my son does a lot of these Zoom sessions. Let's say he just called him like Little Schaff or something like that. I can call him Connor. I can rename him properly. Or if they're not ready or something like that, I can put them into a waiting room. I can put them back in the waiting room if you're not ready to have your meeting yet. So the students also can give you some feedback. If you want to say, hey, am I going okay? Is everything going well? They can say yes, they can say no, they can say go slower, they can say go faster. I personally just tell them not to use any of those features. I say if you have a question or you have a comment, just to put it in the chat session. It makes life a lot easier. Also, don't feel
yes,
like
and then
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, and then you can save that chat, right? By hitting
It is
more.
automatically saved. Anytime you set this up, it automatically saves a text file of all your chats. So not only, if you also hit the record, if you hit record session, it creates a video file, it creates an audio only file, and it creates a text file with all of your chat session in it.
Okay. And what does invite mean?
You can invite others to join your session. Like right now, I think it's usually done by email. Most people will just set this up to where it's done before the meeting. But let's say, for instance, let's see, I'm in a meeting in business. I'm like, okay, well, George should really be a part of this. Let me invite him right now to our meeting. And what happens is George will get an invite, and then he'll click on it, and like 30 seconds later, he could be a part of the meeting. But before he wasn't invited. So that's for inviting people that aren't like in there already.
Okay.
Other questions? Oh, let me hit stop shares too. There we go. Bill oh yeah, poor Bill. I muted him. Bad me. There you go, Bill. Sorry about that. Bad me.
That's okay. Are you going to be on campus at all this fall? I know that's a loaded question, but
I mean, email me anytime.
Okay.
I've been helping out as much as any time somebody's reached out to me, I've helped them. It's like I don't want to offer like, can I sit in on all your classes to offer you like help as you go through there? That's the problem, is I'll be in everybody's classes. But what I can do is, if you have a question, I can answer it relatively easily to you, or I can get you the answer that you need. The first time that you facilitate, just be patient with yourself. I'm also going to provide it when I'll share you all the link, and I'm just going to send it out to everybody. I think it has to go through Susan Harkness's like message thing. I'll send that out. I'm also going to send you out like the Zoom, like all the resource pages, which Zoom does a really good job of giving you tons of support materials, questions. You can look up anything and be comfortable with how to use Zoom. I'll share that also with you all. It's really about practice and just becoming comfortable with how you use it. I'm trying to be a cheerleader here, but I'm just saying the best practice is just actually doing it. You're not going to fall flat on your face. You may stumble or you may miss something. A lot of the times your students have already been part of it. They can probably actually even give you directions, so reach out to your students. I'll even give you my phone number. If you can even if you're in a class, you can text me. I know it sounds, but I will try and get back to you as soon as I can to help you. There's my phone number. Text me. I don't just say, hey, this is Bill. I'm in Zoom right now. I'm having an issue with this. I've almost memorized this now to where I could probably figure out what's going on. I'm going to hit stop recording, by the way.